Hi everyone. First, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Laura Hicks, and I am obtaining a Master's of Arts degree in Industrial and Organizational Psychology. This week, I'm going to cover the readings on social influence. First off is the topic of conformity. I have defined this on the screen, and the two studies I would like to address is Sheriff in 1936, the study of how norms develop in small groups. Male students were asked to participate in a visual perception exercise where they were in a dark room and a small dot of light was 15 feet in front of them. They were then asked how far it moved, and this was repeated multiple times, but the light did not move at all. Second is a study of Ash in 1951. This study tests how people's beliefs affected the beliefs of others. This was a line judgment task, where there was a target line and 3 other lines, and participants were asked to verify which of the 3 lines, A, B, or C, matched the target line. A group of stooges all answered the same, and the innocent participant conformed and followed, even when none of the lines matched. In conclusion, Sheriff's research proved that we use other individual opinions and behaviors for direction to our uncertainty causing conformity. Whereas Ash's research showed that in order for an individual to avoid rejection, they will conform to others' judgments, even knowing they are incorrect. Types of conformity will be discussed next. Compliance is defined on your screen along with 2 techniques to provoke people to comply. First is door in the face technique, where you make a large request that will likely be rejected and follow up with a more reasonable request. Next is foot in the door technique. This is developing a relationship and getting one to comply to a small request that cannot be refused. Door in the face technique increases compliance from an individual by making them feel obligated to make a decision. Foot in the door technique is to break the ice with a small initial request that one cannot easily refuse. Next is obedience. This was proved in Milgram's study that 65% of people will listen to authority and use the maximum shock for innocent people. Obedience is defined as behavior change produced by the commands of authority. Last is the variety of social influence. This is proved by research where conformity rates are higher in cultures that are collectivistic and values tend to change over time. And it also is seen different cultures have a wide variety of conformity rates, and this will change with each generation. On this slide, we will look at group processes, including fundamentals of groups, individuals in groups. To the right is a graphic that helps define group. This is defined as shared goals, objectives, or tasks. People see themselves as members, interaction among members, and 2 or more individuals. Key features of a group are roles, norms, and cohesiveness. A focus on individuals and groups was addressed in this week's readings, and social loafing, where it was discussed that an individual puts less effort into a group performance and more effort for a production as an individual performance that can be easily measured. Throughout this week's reading, there were 3 theories that I will be highlighting. First, evaluation apprehension theory. This is the theory that the presence of others will produce social facilitation effects only when those others are seen as potential evaluators. Next is distraction conflict theory. This is the theory that the presence of others will produce social facilitation effects only when those others distract from the task and create attentional conflict. Lastly is the collective effort model. This is the theory that individuals will exert effort on a collective task to the degree that they think their individual efforts will be important, relevant, and meaningful for achieving outcomes that they value. On this slide, we will look at group performance and conflict. To the right, I've provided some great graphics for better understanding of group performance and conflict within groups. Group performance includes key features such as process loss and gain, brainstorming, group polarization, and groupthink. Process loss is the reduction in group performance due to obstacles created by group processors. And process gain is the increase in group performance so that the group outperforms individuals who make up the group. Brainstorming is a technique used in the group process that attempts to increase the production of creative ideas by encouraging group members to speak freely without criticizing themselves or others. Group polarization is the exaggeration through group discussion of initial tendencies in the thinking of group members, whereas groupthink is a group decision-making style characterized by an excessive tendency among group members to seek concurrence. Next is conflict. The key features of this include things such as social dilemma, prisoner's dilemma, and resource dilemma. Conflict is defined by Erik Erikson's theory as a turning point during which an individual struggles to attain some physiological quality. The following three dilemmas are addressed in regards to group conflict. Social dilemma is a situation in which a self-interested choice by everyone will create the worst outcome for everyone. Prisoner's dilemma is when one party must make either cooperative or competitive moves in relation to another party. This dilemma is usually designed so that the competitive moves appear to be the ones of self-interest, but if both sides make this move, they both suffer more than if they had both cooperated. Resource dilemma is a type of social dilemma involving how two or more people will share a limited resource. In conclusion, I have bulleted 6 key points of social influence. The first being unknowingly, we as individuals are influenced by others' behaviors, nonverbal cues, and subtle signals. Secondly, individuals tend to conform when presented with seemingly logical requests. We must find common ground between being self-supporting and compliance. As for group processes, people grow and create groups to promote social identity and induce self-esteem. It was seen that individuals put in less effort into collective activities and more into their individual performances that can be easily identified. Lastly, it was seen group brainstorming produces less productive ideas than brainstorming alone, and people exert more effort into specific set goals instead of do your best. On this slide, you will see question number 1. But first, let's direct our attention to the graphic at the bottom of the page. This compares facilitation versus loafing. It starts with the presence of others. Facilitation goes on to individuals, efforts evaluated. Then evaluation apprehension as discussed previously, on to social facilitation. Whereas loafing starts with the presence of others, goes on to individuals, efforts not evaluated, no evaluation apprehension, and social loafing. For this question, I would like to address the church setting. Do you feel like people social loaf in the church setting, especially within acts as volunteering, tying, and serving on committees? On this slide, you will see question 2. This is in regards to industrial and organizational psychology. The question being, in the workplace, do you think conformity is good teamwork or a disadvantage to productivity? In other words, is conformity a friend or a foe within the workplace? This concludes my presentation on this week's readings. I hope you have enjoyed, and I wish you all nothing but success in your studies. I want to leave you with this quote by Hans Hansen. Remember, it takes nothing to join the crowd, but it takes everything to stand alone. Thank you for listening, and best of luck in the rest of this course.